If you are averse to hearing the word tag 5 million times, I don't know, maybe you have some sort of schoolyard trauma that continues to haunt you, this might not be the video for you. But if you want overly rambly discussion about tags, watch on. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a really exciting tag video. I know I say that about literally every tag I do, but I've actually got so many thoughts and so much to say, and I'm so excited to be filming this one. As you will have seen, this is the Tag About Tags tag. I was tagged by Nell and Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, and the original tag is by Ross of Skellydandling About the Books. Again, I know I say this every time, but like, for sure, definitely go check out their videos because they have such interesting thoughts and so many interesting things to say in this one, as always. But like, really guys, if there's only one way you're gonna do it, make it this one, because oh my goodness, I've enjoyed watching so many answers to the Tag About Tags that I feel like by this point, am I even saying anything of my own? I think I am. I think I've got some things from me to add to the conversation, but I just love this one, so let's get to the questions. Question 1. Tag first. Did you do the Booktube Newbie Tag? If not, what was your first tag? Do you choose to watch Newbie Tags? I didn't do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I thought about it when I was starting my channel. I sort of saw it somewhere, I think. Or maybe I saw it just after I'd started my channel, but honestly, I didn't like the questions that much, and I didn't find it that interesting, and I didn't know how to answer them. Because when I was starting my channel, obviously I was figuring out how to do booktube, but I also wanted to make videos that would make people go, oh, I want to watch that. Looking at the questions of the Booktube Newbie Tag, I didn't feel like I had interesting or compelling answers to them, so I wasn't interested in doing the tag. I thought, well, who's gonna watch a channel if I sit down and say, oh, what's my niche? Well, I don't really know, I like to read books. Like, well, okay, that's why we're on Booktube. Everyone likes to read books. I didn't know 7-8 months ago, however long ago that was, that my niche was forcing everyone to read Franny Fisher. Like, I had to do Booktube for a while to figure that out. Instead, I chose to start my channel actually with a short little series. I did a TBR, a vlog, and a wrap-up because I started around a time when I was going on vacation and just like chilling out and reading for a week, so I thought, hey, that'll be really good. I'll get one of everything sort of done to start and give that a go and see if I enjoy doing it. And then I think my fourth video was the 20 questions book tag, which is just a tag with 20 questions about books and reading and stuff like that. And I chose that as my first tag because I'd seen it on someone's Booktube channel not long before I started mine, or sort of as I was planning to start my channel. And I thought those questions were, one, in a way easier to answer because they were things I had more concrete thoughts on, like, you know, do you like love triangles? How long do you like to spend in the bookstore? Those are things I could answer better. And also I felt like they shared more about me as a reader and me as a person. So I thought that would be a good way to help people get to know me a little. As for whether I choose to watch them, honestly, I've never really been into watching them, and I very, very rarely watch them now. I watched a few when I was first starting out and like looking for new channels to follow and to interact with and to get to know people, but I don't feel like the Booktube tag really helps you get to know someone. If I'm looking at a new channel, I'd usually rather see a wrap-up or a vlog or maybe a TBR or something where they're really talking about what they're reading, because I want to see what they're actually reading and what they're talking about so that I can see, one, is it stuff I'm interested in reading, or if it's not stuff I'm interested in reading, is it stuff I'm interested in hearing about? And also, I feel like people's personalities tend to come through in how they talk about books, and I can see if someone doesn't read anything I like, but they have an interesting personality and an interesting way of talking about what they are reading, I want to watch their channel. And I think that just comes through more once people have done a couple videos and not in their newbie tag necessarily. Also, as Gunpowder Fiction and Plot mentioned, and I think everyone I've seen do this tag mentioned, I already have more channels than I can keep up with. Booktube is so filled with so many lovely, wonderful, interesting, engaging people to watch. I'm not out there looking for new channels to subscribe to. More new channels that I need to subscribe to come across my path just in the videos I already watch than I can keep up with. So these days I don't go looking for the newbie tag at all. I find new channels because someone else I like tags them, or I see something like that. But I do think the newbie tag is really useful for people who are starting out, who maybe don't know where to start, and who want to find other new channels. It has its purpose. And I feel silly saying this with 150 subscribers and only 8 months in. I feel like I've moved past that stage in my channel. Moving on to question 2, however. Tag emotions. What feelings do tags provoke in you? Tag joy and delight, tag boredom and resentment, tag guilt and anxiety, even tag envy. I have mixed feelings about tags, but I want to be clear that any negative feelings I have are purely a me problem, and I do not want anyone to feel bad that they've made me feel this way, because you guys are all lovely. You are all wonderful, and I love you all. As a person, I have certain anxieties about social situations. I don't think I have social anxiety. I mean, I've never been diagnosed with it and it's never been severe or anything, but basically as a result of some combination of my innate personality and, experiences as a teenager and middle school student and stuff, I'm very insecure that people don't like me or that people don't want me around. I don't think that comes across super strongly when I'm interacting with people. I don't know if any of my friends are watching this, let me know down below. Maybe it's super obvious to everyone except me, but I tend to have a lot of internal anxiety about people not liking me, even though they probably do. So on one hand, I'm super excited about tags. I love getting tagged. I love that feeling of oh yes, this person is including me. Yay, oh good, so happy. But I also find them pretty stressful. And I find them stressful for a couple reasons. First, I'm always worried that if I don't do a tag that someone tags me in, that they're going to be hurt and feel like I'm rejecting them. I know that's a crazy irrational thought and that no one is looking at it like that. And I don't look at it like that. So I tell myself well, you're not upset when people don't do tags that you tag them in, so why would they be upset? But I think I have such a fear of simultaneously making people feel like they shouldn't like me and also making people feel like I don't like them, that I just get stressed about it and I feel like I have to do it, which is something I'm trying to work on. And I also get stressed sometimes because I tend to be very slow in my turnaround. I think this video is going to go live about 2 weeks after Scott and Nell tagged me in this tag, and that's a fast turnaround for me because I like to plan in advance. I've got set days that I upload. I like to know in advance what I'm going to be uploading so I can plan for it. I tend to film 2 or 3 videos at a time, so I usually only film once a week. Then I've got to edit. That's how I like to make videos. I'm not someone who likes to just sit down and turn on the camera and start filming and then upload that same evening. So many people I follow do that. It works super well. I love their videos. I'm not at all critiquing that style, but for me, I like to have a plan to know what I'm going to be doing, and I'd feel really anxious if I didn't. So sometimes I get a bit stressed that, oh my goodness, it's going to be a month later by the time I do the tag and everyone else is already going to have done it and I'm going to be late to the party, and these are dumb things to be thinking. I am sure none of you notice or care that maybe I do a tag a month after everyone else. I know I don't notice or care when other people do that, but we've all got that weird extra harsh scrutiny of ourselves thing, and this is one aspect where that's really strong for me. All that being said, this is something I'm trying to work on, and actually preparing my answers for this tag and thinking things through for this tag video has actually been really helpful on that front. It's made me sort of realize a bit wait, this isn't a reasonable way to behave. You don't need to put this much pressure on yourself. If you don't want to do a tag, no one's gonna be upset. If you decide to skip one or do it 6 months later, no one is going to care. And be kind to myself. It's a hobby. Having now shared way too much personal stuff, let's move on. Question 3, tag favorites. What kind of tags do you like most and least to do and to watch? When I started out, I liked all the tags. I was into all of them. I thought they were all so fun. And then the last 3 months now, I guess, I've been doing a load of tags because I was behind on the tags that I was tagged in, and like I said, I felt like I had to do them, so I was like, right, I'm gonna do some extra videos, I'm gonna do more tags, and then as my channel's grown a bit and I've interacted with more people and made more friends, which these are all positive things, I've also gotten tagged more, which again, I appreciate, it's great, I love it. But because I've been putting pressure on myself to do all of them, I've been doing a lot of tags lately, is basically what I'm saying. And through that, I've realized that I actually do have preferences. And what I've realized is that I don't love doing tags that are just like name books. I'm not going to name any examples because I think everyone works super hard. There's definitely a place for these tags. I know a lot of people enjoy them, and I don't want to, be mean about anyone's tag. I think they're all good. It's just that my personal preference, I don't like the ones where the prompt will be, X and such thing, name a book that, or name a book with. And honestly, it's because I find them really hard to answer. I read a lot of books. Maybe not by certain booktuber standards, but on the whole, I read a lot. I read a very varied group of books. But whenever I try and do one of these tags, I end up sitting there for ages staring at the prompts and going, I have no answers. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's because of how my brain thinks about books. I don't know. I always end up sitting there going, name a book with, and all of a sudden I have never read a single book with that feature. I also never really know what to say in those tag videos. I never know if I should give a mini review of the book, but it might be 5 years since I read the book, so I don't remember that much about it, or if I should talk about that element in the book, or I just find them not as fun to make. And lately, I've been getting way more into tags like this one. Gunpowder, Fiction, and Plot discussed in their video, and I promise I'm not just saying this because they said it and I'm agreeing with them because they're cool, but that it's really fun to have tags where it's a discussion and a continuation and almost a conversation. So we're all answering the same questions and offering our opinions and our thoughts on a topic or you guys get what I mean. I like the tags that get me talking about things that I probably otherwise wouldn't talk about on my channel, and that make me actually think about things and have a bit of a discussion instead of just, here's a book with soldiers in it. As for watching tags, I like them all. I watch booktubers because I like who they are as people, and if I like you as a person, I'll happily watch you talk about anything. But I do get more excited about the ones like this one, where it's a bit more of a conversation. It's interesting to see different people's perspectives. I love ones where the questions make people speak in a way that you just want to write an essay in the comments and be like, oh, you said this, and I think this is a cool factor. Like, tags that get me doing that are the ones I'm the most excited about. Question 4, tag style. How do you tag? Do you have a system for keeping track of when you were tagged or tags you plan to do? Do you prepare to do tags or just wing it? I was going to say this is sort of embarrassing, except literally today when I'm filming this, I watched Katja Weinart's Tag About Tags video, and she mentioned that she does something similar, so I'm not going to be embarrassed about it. It's cool. It's a way of approaching Booktube. I have a Google spreadsheet that I keep track of all of my Booktube planning stuff in. I've got like one sheet where I've got a calendar thing and I plan out what videos I'm going to do when. I've got another sheet where I just store ideas sort of categorized, like, oh, this would be a cool vlog to do, or this is a cool book review that I could do at some point, or stuff like that. And one of the columns in that sheet is tag ideas. Whenever I see a tag that I haven't been tagged in but I think sounds fun, I add it to that sheet. And that's just sort of like I'm not planning to do it at any particular time, but if I am ever like, hey, what video should I do today? I can pull from that list. I then also have a separate sheet where I track the tags that I have been tagged in, because generally, if I've been tagged in something up until now, I put it in my planner immediately as like, when am I going to do this video? So I put in, the name of the tag, when I'm going to upload it, who tagged me, and once I've thought about it and planned it or filmed the video, also who I'm tagging, which I promise I'm not doing this to be weird or creepy or like stalk whether or not you did the tags I'm tagging you in. It's not like that. It's just I was feeling stressed about whether I was, oh shoot, am I tagging the same person in every single one? That's going to be annoying to them. Or maybe I've forgotten to tag someone and I haven't tagged them in like 3 months. Basically, by keeping track, it lets me not stress about accidentally bothering one person or leaving someone out. Most people probably don't get stressed about this sort of thing. That's awesome. For me, if I don't have it written down and sort of kept track of and planned, it's something that I just end up spinning over in my head and stressing about and thinking about too much. So I decided one night it was just easier to keep track and not think about it than it was to think obsessively about it. This came about back in January when I was starting to really ramp up the number of tags I was doing. I was doing like, a tag a week, and it was just too much to keep track of who I'd tagged recently. So I thought, well, yeah, that's what spreadsheets are for. As for whether I prepared for tags or not, I do. I prepare for all of my videos, not like a full script or anything. I don't like reading what I'm gonna say, but I find making some fairly detailed notes lets me organize my thoughts, and it lets me figure out what I want to say and see if anything is really missing, and that makes my filming a lot easier, and it also makes my editing so much easier. Also, of course, if I am doing a name a book style tag, I want to have those prepared in advance and not have to cut, 15 minutes of me scrolling through the Storygraph between every answer out of my final product. That's just not something I'm interested in doing. Again, this isn't me bashing on the wing it style at all. So many people I watch do that, and it works super well for them, and they have super interesting, insightful, engaging videos. But for me, I know that I'm the type of person where if I haven't thought about what I want to say, there's going to be just continuous then me staring blankly at the camera for 3 minutes while I try and figure out what to say, and then I've got to sort of try and rearrange everything while I'm editing because I had a thought later on that I should have said earlier, and I'd rather sit down in advance and type out all of my ideas than spend the time editing. So that's what I do, that's what works for me, and I think it works out okay in the videos. I assume it does, or you guys wouldn't be watching them. Question 5, tag memories. Of the tags you have watched, done, or created, which have stuck in your memory? Are there any you would like to revisit or revive? I'm not sure about revive. I didn't pay that close attention to tags on Booktube before I started doing Booktube. I think because I mostly watched big channels before I started my channel, and they don't tend to do as many tags, I think, because I don't know why. Anyway, the channels I watched didn't do very many tags, so I didn't really think about them, and I don't know what tags were popular, say, 3 years ago that I might want to revive. But some of my favorites, I want to mention the Omnivore Reader book tag by Emma of A Cup of Books. This is technically a name a book style tag, but it's really broad, it's really open-ended. You just choose 4 genres and list your favorite book, your most recent read, and your upcoming read from that genre. I really like seeing the genres that people pick to represent them. I think it's super interesting and cool to see what people think sort of the genres that are their tastes are, and see how that lines up with my image of them as a reader. I also like that it gets people talking about, like, oh, what's your favorite? But also, what are you planning to read next? I feel like oftentimes we talk about our upcoming reads in a TBR, or we talk about a favorites video, or, we talk about recents in a wrap-up, but it's kind of cool to see those grouped by genre, not by type of book. So I think it's really neat. I've really liked watching people's videos. I enjoyed doing it myself. That is one I might revisit in the future. I don't have any plans to right now because I enjoyed making it, but I don't feel like there was tons of stuff I left out. But it's definitely one that if I pick up a new genre or I get back into something, very easily could be done. I also want to mention the Choose Your Own Adventure tag, which I think was originally by Joanna. I did this one recently, and I'll be honest, my answers were okay. It's not my favorite video that I've made. I went Discworld and chose only characters from Terry Pratchett's Discworld series for my answers, which should have been really fun and exciting, but honestly, when I was planning and filming and editing that video, I was just at a place where I didn't have loads of mental bandwidth for Booktube, so I didn't put as much effort into it as I would have liked. I didn't get the end result that I would have wanted from my video. That being said, I love watching them, and I love the fact that this tag exists because it's all about characters. It's not about, name a book where X. It's, talk about a character who's really brave or really loyal, or talk about a character you wouldn't want to be your enemy type thing. And I think that's so fun. I know some booktubers talk about character a lot, but also for a lot of us, I think we can sort of talk about the book as a whole. When you're specifically asked about a character, you talk about things in a totally different light, and it's a totally different introduction to the book. So I think that one's a great tag, and I really enjoy it. And it also tells you a lot about the person doing the tag, which is something I really enjoy. I like it when tags help you get to know the booktuber better and learn more about them, both as a reader and a person. And then this one is a favorite for sort of a more personal reason, but I really like the History Challenge tag. This was created last summer by Emma of A Cup of Books and her co-hosts for the History Challenge. And I mean, it's a good tag. I like the questions. I enjoyed doing it, but it was also really exciting exciting because it was the first video I was ever tagged in, and that was just, you know, beyond exciting for me. It felt like a step in the, hey, you're becoming a booktuber process. Also, at the point where Emma tagged me in it, I had maybe 30 subscribers, and then I was on vacation and had pretty limited Wi-Fi, but I woke up and one morning I was checking like YouTube Studio on my phone, and I saw that I'd gained like 10 subscribers overnight, and I was so excited. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? This is so cool. And then when I got home and could watch videos again, I realized it was because I'd been tagged in this. It was just so exciting, so I'll always remember that one really fondly. And finally, 6. Tag some people. The first person I want to tag will come as no surprise to longtime viewers of this channel. It is Amrita of Amrita by the Book. She's one of those people who can take any tag and any prompt, and she will find interesting books to talk about and interesting discussions to have about those books and about the topic. And honestly, she will list 10 books in a tag video, and even if half of them she talks about how she didn't really like them, I still want to read all of those books. And I still feel so interested in how she's talking about them. I think she's already been tagged in this when I'm filming this. By the time this goes up, she's probably already filmed her answers, but I have to shout her out because her tag answers are always interesting, always incredible. Really the peak example of it doesn't matter what you're talking about, I want to watch it. Next, of course, I have to mention Nikki of Nikki's Books. Has she met a tag she doesn't like? I don't think so. I am so impressed and so in awe of how many tags she does, how she manages to find interesting answers and different books to talk about every time, because I'm someone who, I feel like I mention the same books as tag answers all the time, and I don't feel like that's the case on her channel. And she does so many more tags than me, so how do you do it, Nikki? Tell us all about it, please. Then I'm going to tag Kathy of The Grim Reader. I've never seen her really do any of the like name a book style tags, but she always has really interesting and really insightful answers to the tags that she does do. So I am confident that she will have some really, really interesting reflections and insights on these questions. And finally, I want to mention Couple of A Couple Books. Again, he's just someone who has really interesting answers to tags, and it doesn't matter what he's talking about or what the prompt is. He's got so much energy and passion and always is so excited to talk about the books he's talking about and to talk about the prompts and how they fit the books, and just his channel is a delight to watch in general, and another one of those people where any tag video he does, I know I'm going to enjoy watching it. So I'd love to see his answers to this one. All right. That is the end of this video. It's definitely going to be longer than most of my tag videos because I've been filming for like twice as long as I usually do, but that's awesome. I feel like this has been so interesting and such a fun tag to do and such interesting questions to talk about. How many times will I say interesting? Probably a lot more. But for now, let me know down below, how do you feel about tags? What are your thoughts on this? As I said, I love it when we can have a discussion about these things and I can get different perspectives and different opinions. So also, of course, if I haven't tagged you, please consider yourself tagged. I would love to see your answers as well. Just let's talk about tags. Let's talk about meta booktube stuff. I find this fascinating. It is so fun. So please, let's continue the conversation down below. And as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.